I'm Yvonne and welcome to the RV Cooking Show, a place where we can share our passion for RVing and our love for recreating regional food specialties from all across the country, right here in my RV kitchen. Sure, Flying Flags RV Resort is in the middle of it all. World-class wineries, award-winning breweries, celebrity chef restaurants, and fabulous farmer markets offering the freshest produce. But if the food scene is not your thing, this episode's for you. In this Food, Fun, and Friends at Flying Flags More to Explore episode, we're going to share with you a few of our favorite non-foodie things to do in the area. For example, in the little Danish town of Solvang is what's called the hidden gem of the California mission chain, Mission Santa Ynez. It's still an active church. They have self-guided audio tours and a great little museum. Their grounds are also fabulous, so if it's lunchtime, grab a little picnic lunch in Solvang and come enjoy lunch al fresco at Mission Santa Ynez. There's also the Chumash Casino, and it is everything you would expect a world-class casino to be. They also have lots of big-name entertainment, and people come to see the shows from near and far. What I love about the Chumash Casino is their complimentary shuttle service to and from Flying Flags RV Resort. They'll come pick you up at the resort, and when it's time to come home, they'll bring you back. While you're at the Chumash Casino, ask about their really neat program. It's called the Win Country Passport. Just west of Flying Flags RV Resort, in a little unincorporated side of Buellton, is a lavender farm. It's called Andre Lavender Farm, and we had an opportunity to visit with Cheryl Andre Wagner and learn a lot about lavender. I think you're going to love this talk.
We grow 2 varieties of lavender of the 5 varieties that we currently have planted for culinary, and we call those a food grade. There are only 20 original species of lavender, but there's hundreds of varieties, and lavender is an herb, it is edible, but not every variety would taste good, so you want to make sure that you get a food grade variety. We do have Sarah that we grow and we sell in our containers for culinary. This is good on your meats, vegetables, salads. People like to use it in ice cream, creme brulee, a lot of other breads, cakes.
Mm-hmm. So what's the difference between culinary lavender and the lavender, I don't know, the lavender that I might put in a pillow and keep that on my bed or use that in my drawers as a sachet?
It's the taste.
Oh, it's the taste.
Right. Whenever you get into the hybrids, which there's hundreds of varieties, then you are getting a lot of camphor. And the camphor is good for medicinal purposes, but it's not good for, it doesn't taste good for eating. We make all our own oil, by the way. Oh. And our oil then sits in an air-conditioned storage shed for 2 years before I use it.
Really?
Yeah, and the reason for that is the fragrance. The fragrance actually gets better with age.
Really? So do you press the lavender to get the oil out of it like you would an olive?
No, we use the dry method. We steam distill it.
Oh.
So the buds themselves are not in the water.
Oh. Why is that?
Well, because by cooking the buds, you have to cook them for so long when they're in the water in order to get any amount of oil. Where this way the steam goes up through the flower heads and it gets the oil in the steam. It goes through a condenser where we pump in cold water. The condenser has coils inside. That cools those coils, which cools the steam, and it comes down a tube into a separator where we actually separate the oil from the water. And another secret about our lavender is we cook it about 30 to 35 minutes when we're getting the oil, because lavender oil is graded in notes. You have a high note, medium note, and a low note. And the longer you cook it, you're going to get the middle and the low note of the oil in with the high note. Oh. And you don't want that. You just want the high note of the lavender oil, and that's what makes your good oil. A lot of people like to make their own potpourri items.
Not culinary?
No, not culinary.
This one isn't culinary.
Your culinary plants are normally very small plants. So you get very little buds off of it, and you get very little oil off of it. Okay. So those we use just specifically for our food items.
Because, you know, you'll see lavender growing all over and you're like, oh, I'm going to cut that and I'm going to take those and I'm going to make something yummy with it.
Right.
But no, a lot of camphor, not so yummy.
What you need to do is taste the buds. It is an herb. You can eat it, and it's not going to hurt you. If it doesn't taste good, you just get rid of it.
All varieties you can taste?
Oh, yeah, you can taste all varieties of lavender, yes.
Wasn't that interesting? Who knew?
Yeah.
All that talk about culinary lavender with Cheryl inspired me to show you how to make one of my very favorite cocktails with a twist. I'm going to show you how to make a Lavender Lemon Drop Martini. And I'm going to use some of the Andre Lavender Culinary Lavender. This is the Sarah variety. And I think you are going to love it. Now, if alcohol or vodka is not your thing, that's okay. You can visit my website and I'll show you how to make some lavender lemonade, just as fabulous. But to start with our Lavender Lemon Drop Martinis, here's what we're going to do. I've got my martini glasses. I'm using fresh lemon juice. So I cut a little bit of the rind of a lemon that I've already squoze, and I'm going to rub it along the edge of my martini glass. Just like this, get it nice and wet. On my plate, I've got some granulated sugar. I'm just going to roll this around in the sugar to give a nice candy sugar coating to my glass. This is absolutely perfect. As you can see, it's really well coated. Now, the ingredients for a Lavender Lemon Drop Martini are simple. I've got fresh squeezed lemon juice. I've got my lavender simple syrup. And lavender simple syrup is exactly that. Simple, syrupy, tasting like lavender. And this is how you make a simple syrup. You take equal parts of sugar and water. Put them in a saucepan on your stove top and bring them to almost a boil until the sugar is completely melted. Once the sugar's melted, I let mine simmer for about a minute or so. I want it to get just a little bit thicker. To infuse it with the lavender flavor, what you do is once it's melted and bubbled for about a minute, you remove your saucepan from the heat, and I added 2 tablespoons of my culinary lavender. Stirred it around and allowed the culinary lavender to seep into the simple syrup until it was cooled to room temperature. Once it cooled to room temperature, I strained the lavender from the simple syrup, put it in a jar, and I keep that in my refrigerator. It'll keep for over a month. You can use this same technique with basil or rosemary or mint or thyme, really any herb that you think would be delicious to flavor up some simple syrup. Lavender is the star of our show today. And I've got some vodka. You'll notice that's not a vodka bottle. It's because I live in an RV. I like to keep my vodka in the freezer, so I transfer little amounts into a small pretty bottle, keep them in my freezer. To make our Lavender Lemon Drop Martini, we're going to need a cocktail shaker. Again, because I live in an RV, my space is somewhat limited, so my cocktail shaker does double duty with my to-go mug. You'll see this works absolutely fine, so let's get started with our Lavender Lemon Drop Martinis. I'm going to make 2. So I've got my fresh squeezed lemon juice. I'm going to add 3 shots of fresh squeezed lemon juice to my cocktail shaker, just like this. 2, 3, or 3 parts, depending on how much you're making. Just like that. I'm going to add 2 parts or 2 shots of my lavender simple syrup right in there like that. Wonderful. And last, I'm going to add 2 shots of vodka. 1 for each cocktail. Perfect. Now we know we can't shake a martini without ice, so let me get my ice. Couple of ice cubes in. Don't leave this out. Warm lemon juice, not so good. On goes the lid of our cocktail shaker. I'm going to put my finger over the little hole on top, make sure it's closed. Give it a nice good shake. Everything's mixing together, it's getting foamy, and the ice is melting just a little bit from the friction to make it ice cold. Wonderful. Just going to pop open my little drink hole, pour it right into my glass. And just to add a little interest and beauty, we're going to put a few sprigs of fresh lavender right into the glasses. Oh, absolutely delicious and different too. Make your own lavender lemon libation and get ready for the next part of this RV Cooking Show episode where we visit with Maria from the Quicksilver Miniature Horse Farm. This is so amazing. Look at these beautiful horses.
Welcome to the world of miniature horses.
Tell us about them.
Well, they're actually, a lot of people come in here thinking because they're small that they're going to be an odd, a mystical type creature, but they're actually just like a big horse, but in a small package. They eat the same kinds of things and act the same way, and just a lot smaller. They were bred down for royalty, and then when they got bored with them, they sent them off to the mines to work. They were actually brought to this country for the coal mines back east, and they were used in the mines up until about the mid-50s, and then somebody thought they were cute again, and they kind of made their little circle.
These beautiful miniature horses are how old?
This group here are yearlings, so they were last year's foal crop. So most of these were born in April and May of last year, and they pretty much have reached their height by now. They'll do a lot of maturing over the next 2 years, and they're considered mature at 3 years of age.
Oh,
That's
really?
when we are able to breed them if we choose to do so. We get people from all over the world, and we get buyers from all over the world as well. So so it's not just for children.
Absolutely
However,
not.
it's an absolutely wonderful place for people to bring kids. Here in the valley, when mom and dad get to do their wine tasting and so forth, there's something for the little kids to do. So
now I noticed the braids and the
yeah,
manes. Tell me about that.
that's not normal hairdo normally.
You didn't fancy him up for the RV Cooking Show? What?
No, we're actually trying to train all the manes to stay over to one side. So that is not our normal hairdo.
Oh, and you said that you sell the miniature horses. You
Yes.
sell them the ponies, is what they would be called, the small teeny ones, the babies?
Well, no, the babies are called foals.
Foals.
Foal is like generic for baby.
Okay.
And then a boy is a colt, a girl is a filly, and they are colts and fillies until they are 3 years old. When they're mature, they then become mares and stallions.
I see.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So they're, and they are technically a horse, a miniature horse. They have to be under 34 inches tall to be registered as an adult. They are not a pony. We kind of joke around that pony's a 4-letter word around here. Normally our foals sell, and then they leave right after they're weaned, which is at about 4.5 months of age. So they're a little smaller than these guys here. And 90% of them leave here in the back of a van or an SUV. Haven't seen one leave in a motorhome yet, though.
Could be your opportunity. Cute, huh? Thank you for joining us on this episode of the RV Cooking Show, our food, fun, and friends at Flying Flag's More to Explore. We hope you enjoyed learning how to make our Lavender Lemon Drop Martinis. You can find the recipe for these Lavender Lemon Drop Martinis, as well as how to make a simple syrup or an infused simple syrup and lavender lemonade on our website, www.rvcookingshow.com. We'll also talk a little bit more about the fabulous places we explored in this episode, and you can find this show as well on flyingflags.com. Thanks so much for joining us here today. You can also find us on Facebook, and we'll look for you next time on the RV Cooking Show. Oh yeah, it's time.